Prime of the Ancient Ape. What's going on, y'all? Bunny Chaff here. Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon FireRed. Last time, we left Vermilion City in search of our next badge, and we stumbled upon Rock Tunnel here. And we decided to brighten the place up by using one of our new HMs in HM05 Flash. This time, we will hopefully explore all of Rock Tunnel and see what's on the other side, and if it gets us any closer to our next badge. Also, fun fact, if you stand in a route or cave or wherever that has wild Pokemon, and if you wait around long enough, you can hear the cry of a Pokemon located in that area. I've heard the cries of an Onix and a Geodude and a Zubat. Maybe I didn't hear the Geodude. I think it's just been mainly Onix and Zubats. So that means there are Onix in this cave, so if you want to catch one, by all means catch one for your Pokedex. I wouldn't recommend using it for battle, because it is trash. Who do I have up front? Peter? Alright. What the hell was that? I'm gonna try to skip as many trainers in here because I want to get through this cave as quick as possible. I don't want to make this a two-parter. I mean, it shouldn't take long anyways because this cave is pretty straightforward. I mean, it doesn't have many diverging paths. I mean, the diverging paths it does have just takes you to items or trainers. So it's not a hard cave, and Peter's gonna die. Oh, never mind. I didn't even let myself finish that thought. Because I thought Peter was going to go down. Okay, we took down that Cubone. Slowpoke. We cannot handle Slowpoke. That's why we have Mimian and his magical leaf. So, Slowpoke. Very bulky, but also quite slow, as the name implies. It is only a Leaf Green exclusive, so us FireRed players will not be able to get it. I'm not gonna lie, us FireRed people, good lord, kinda got shafted in the water Pokemon department for exclusives wise, because we don't get many good ones. I'm just saying that out loud. I do not care for the water types that FireRed players get. The water types that I can get that don't overlap with my type or share weakness with my Pokemon if they had the same type, it doesn't look too good in terms of options. Leaf Green users are lucky bastards and they get some of the coolest ones. But whatever, we still get Arcanine though, so that's fine. That's fine. Arcanine's so good. I might be just coping really hard. I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, Slowpokes. They're water psychic types. They're pretty good. Really solid offensively, but really great as a bulky tank. They have some solid move pool options. They get Flamethrower oddly, which is pretty cool to think about it. A water type learning like fire type moves. I mean, there are fire types that learn water type moves. Emboar with Scald. But I mean, it's just cool to think that this dopey little Pokemon can shoot fire out of his mouth. How cool is that? It does evolve late at like level 37. I mean, it helps that you can't get Slowpoke until like around the 6th or 7th gym badge, depending on how you want to tackle things. So it's up to you on when you want to get it, but they can be really annoying. Not just being pretty bulky, but they learn a lot of disrupting type moves, like Disable. They can learn Yawn, which puts your opponent to sleep after one turn. So like you'll use yawn, your Pokemon becomes drowsy, and then the next turn you'll fall asleep. You can prevent that from happening by switching out, so it's not really annoying, but it just a pain in the ass to deal with. So yeah, Slowpokes aren't bad, and their evolutions are pretty cool. It does have another evolution, if you know. It has a branch, or split evolution, I should say, where it can evolve into one or another thing. You can't get that. You can't have that other option in this game until you get to the post game. So yeah. Oh, and you also have to have somebody to trade with, and you have to have the item that requires it. Yes, certain Pokemon need to evolve with an item while traded. Pain in the ass, especially if you're alone. I'm not gonna lie. This is my second full take. I've had multiple takes just trying to get the intro right. But this is my second full take because my first take, my game froze. It was really weird. It has never happened to me before, but it froze. Sure as shit. And I had to restart the... I was pretty much done with the freaking cave, too. Pissed me off. I like how I said I was going to cut out a lot of these trainers, but I'm not. I haven't stopped yapping yet. Which is probably why my game froze the first time, because I just didn't stop yapping. Okay. Well, we defeated Picnicker Martha. And let's see. I do not have any antidotes, but I know I have a Pecha Berry, which heals poison, so that's nice. I'm gonna have to... I might put Peter in the back, because it is a cave, and we'll be running into hitchhikers pretty soon. Not hitchhikers, just hikers. What am I? Hitchhikers. No. Wrong kind. Repel up. Okay. Let's start skipping these trainers. Nothing that Fuzzy Wuzz couldn't handle. On the topic of exclusives, or at least Pokemon exclusives, I guess we'll have to start skipping these. As I was saying. So, I will say FireRed does get gypped on a lot of the exclusives here. I'd say we only get like 2, maybe 3 Pokemon that are really good exclusives. Other than that, I think Leaf Green get the better ones. And the only reason why I prefer FireRed is because I love one of the exclusives in this game. And I've used it so many times. But yeah, no, FireRed gets gypped. I'm not saying like Oddish isn't... I'm not saying Oddish is bad. Oddish is pretty good. It's a really good tanky grass type, and I love Sleep Powder and the other... Well, mainly just Sleep Powder. The other 2 status moves are alright. But yeah, Sleep Powder is pretty good. My only problem with the Oddish family is that their level up set is so awful. I mean, your main method of attacking in that family is Mega Drain until you get a better grass type TM. Or, I mean, I guess you could get the grass move Petal Dance, but you have to get it while you're a Vileplume, I believe. I believe it's only a Vileplume only. The Vileplume only move. And you have to level it up at like a high level, so you're basically using a pretty weak grass type move for quite a while. I mean, there is a strong grass type move in this game known as Solar Beam, or in Pokemon known as Solar Beam, but the only problem is with Solar Beam, it takes 2 turns in order for it to be useful. 1 turn to charge up, the second turn to unleash that power. I mean, it's not bad for Vileplume because it's pretty tanky, so I suppose you could have a reason to use that on it, but like, yeah, at this point in the series, grass type moves were pretty freaking awful. I'd say your best grass type move is Razor Leaf, and Bellsprout and Bulbasaur cover that pretty easily. The only problem with Bellsprout and trying to get Razor Leaf on it, you're gonna be waiting until like level 30, like 39 when it's evolved into a Weeping Bell. Or at least early 30s, maybe late 20s when it's a Bellsprout, before you can get Razor Leaf. And you can't get Razor Leaf as in its fully evolved form because it doesn't learn it leveling up. Because, you know, it's a Stone evolution, and like I said, Stone Evos don't really learn moves leveling up after they've evolved. At least most of them don't. I mean, they kind of do. Okay, they kind of do. It's usually just some pretty shit moves at like very late levels, like level 40 or 47 and 60. Other than that, out of like maybe 2 level up moves, you're not getting much out of them. And yeah, so and Victory Bell can't get Razor Leaf, which is the fully evolved form of Bellsprout. It can't get Razor Leaf, so you gotta wait for a while to get that move, and then you can have your Victory Bell. Now, unless you want to keep Vine Whip around, which is already kind of a weak grass type move in of itself. I mean, Razor Leaf isn't that strong because it's 55 base power. It has a high chance of crit, and it worked like a charm in Generation 1, where critical hit, well, moves with a high critical hit ratio to them pretty much will crit if you have a good enough speed stat. But in the case of these games, where that doesn't matter, or that's not a factor at all, it's not that good, and your best move is Razor Leaf, or you could have the kind of lackluster Solar Beam. I mean, not really lackluster, just a pain in the ass to get set up. I mean, since this is a Generation 3 game, there are weather changing moves and abilities, so if you have like Sunny Day, you can get a 1-turn charge Solar Beam, which is super dope. However, if somebody uses Rain Dance on you, or Hail, that will that'll make you go back to a 2-charge, make Solar Beam go back to a 2-charge move, and I believe it weakens it, cuts the damage by half, so yeah, Solar Beam is kind of a double-edged sword. Really powerful, but you gotta go through much shit. Anyways, Fuzzy Wuzz is evolving.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Primeape! Hey, we got Primeape! Yeah, Fuzzy Wuzz is now fully evolved, and wants to learn Rage. Rage is a weird move. It starts out as 20 base power, and it increases the more, increases in damage, the more times you use it, and if you get hit after those uses. So, I use Rage once, and then I get hit. It'll say your Rage is building up, so that means Rage is getting stronger in power, so then I can use that again. It works slightly different. It has different quirks in the first 3 generations of these games. It does something different in Generation 1, which I'll put on screen now. And then it has a different quirk in Generation 2 to replace that old one, where in Generation 2 is actually really good. And only good in Generation 2. Generation 3 had a quirk to replace that, and which I think raises your attack stat by 1 stage, which is pretty neat, but like you gotta get hit after you use Rage, so not the greatest way to boost your stats, but whatever. So yeah, it's not really a great move unless you're playing in Generation 2, but even then it's only good for the early game. So let's test out Fuzzy Wuzz's immense power. Since we're now a primate, we are pretty much the fastest fighting type, at least in the first three generations of Pokemon, which is quite a feat to behold because fighting types up until now are kind of slow. Well, there's like a couple stragglers, but generally they're pretty slow. Interesting thing about Primeape and Mankey. Red, blue, and green. They cannot learn a fighting type move unless you count Seismic Toss as a genuine fighting type move, but I kind of don't since it's fixed damage and only does damage upon not how much, what level your Pokemon's at, so, and you're not really doing stab damage to it, so there's no super effective. You're not getting any bonuses out of it. That's the only fighting type move Primeape gets. I mean, yeah, he gets Karate Chop, but remember, Generation 1, Karate Chop was a normal type move. And also, as I've said before, fighting types suck in Generation 1. Thank God they got better. As you can tell, I am spamming the hell out of Brick Break because it's just such a good move. The fact that the Mankey family didn't get a fighting type move until Pokemon Yellow, which was low kick at like level 9 for Mankey, is astounding. And like I said, low kick was only 50 base power. I think I've said that before. But yeah, 50 base power, 95% accurate, with a chance to flinch. It's not the weight depending move like it is now. But that's crazy to think about. I mean, it makes sense in a way because, to be fair, if you were playing red, blue, and green, you had a choice between Squirtle and Bulbasaur to deal with Brock easily. So you really didn't need a water type, or not water type, you didn't really need a fighting type move on a Mankey. But still, it would have been nice to have. So the closest thing you'll get to a fighting type move is the, well, not Seismic Toss. Submission, where it's 80 base power, 80% accuracy, and and it deals recoil damage to the user. So it's just lovely. It is such a good move. Matt. Well, I mean, damage is fine, but the mischance and recoil is pretty gnarly. So, yeah, no, it does not look good for the Mankey family. At least in Pokemon Yellow. I mean, it makes sense in Pokemon Yellow why it gets a fighting type move, because your starter's only Pikachu. So you need something to deal with Brock. That's also why the Nidorans, believe it or not, got double kick a lot earlier, because they only got double kick at like level 30. And I mean Nidorans. I don't even think, well, I think Nidorino and Nidorina got it, but it was like level 40 or late 30s. And nobody's waiting that long just for a double kick. Thankfully, they changed that and made that like level 10 or 12, so thank God. Thank God. Talk to this dude, and he is a tutor guy. So we finally got to our next tutor after the 2 mega moves. Oh, Charmeleon, or Peter can learn it. That's weird. Hey, Meowth got an item. Dope. I could teach Rock Slide to my Kingpin, but I don't wanna. I want to give it to Fuzzy Wuzz. So Rock Slide, pretty cool move. It's the strongest Rock type move in this game, as of this game, I mean. Where it's 75 base power, 90% accurate, with a 30% chance to flinch. Way better than the inaccurate, inconsistent Rock Tomb. Fuck you, Rock Tomb. We got Rock Slide now. Hell yeah. So now we can take care of flying types more reliably. I mean, we'll still have a chance, pretty sizable chance to miss, but we got a good rock type move out of it. Rock Slide was in Generation 1, or the original games, but you could It was not locked behind tutor. You can just get it out of a trade with a little girl. If you give her the, I think it's either a soda pop, lemonade, or fresh water. It's one of those items you give to her, and then she'll give you a rock slide TM in exchange. I think you can get multiple from that. So, yeah. And I don't think there was a chance to flinch back then. But still, a really solid rock type move. I think Rock Throw was your other option for a rock type move to have. And Rock Throw had like 60% accuracy? 60 or 65% accuracy at 50 base power? What the shit? So rock types were kind of ass until they got Rock Slide. And some of them didn't learn it leveling up, so you had to give it to them by TM. Thankfully, well, I don't know if I'd say thankfully, because there's only a one-time use of this tutor, and I used it on my fighting type, so yeah. Some of you might say that's a bit lame that you're gonna use it on your fighting type when you can give it to, like, say, Peter or Kingpin. And yeah, I could, but I think Fuzzy Wuzz is a better user of this move. Especially since he's pretty much gonna be outspeeding a lot of things, so he'll get those flinches pretty easily. And I think it'd just be nice to have some fairly consistent, fairly not totally consistent damage on flying types. And plus, we don't really need those speed drops anymore. We're pretty much all fast. I mean, I haven't shown off Fuzzy Wuzz's stats now as a primate, but like, look at that: 68 speed, 69 attack, 67 speed, 52, 51. We're pretty fast. We're outspeeding a lot of Pokemon. Very nice. So, nothing to really worry about speed anymore. So, yeah. Those rocks that look like they're about to crumble away, that is basically for an HM that we get very late. And they're not useful. Well, the HM's not useful. Not until you get it. Once you get it, it's used in like a couple areas. This not being one of them. Because the only reason why they're there is so you can get Pokemon out of them. Or items. You get just like a small percentage when you break those rocks. You can get a Pokemon to jump out at you. Or an item. Usually pretty good items. The Pokemon that will jump out at you in those rocks are Geodudes. But like, we've already got access to Geodudes. So, yeah, that's... And it's not even a great HM either. But I can talk about that more once we actually get it. Pretty obvious what it is if you know, if you already know. That was an annoying fight. I had a hard time beating those Slowpokes because they just would not die easily. I also just saved because that was where my game crashed, and I don't want it to happen again, especially since this is pretty much the end, or at least the tail end of the cave here. A long-ass gauntlet of trainers, so let's start cutting these up. Don't try anything funny in the dark. Ooh, 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 no, ooh, no. Peter's trying to learn Scary Phase. What that does, it harshly lowers your opponent's speed, which harshly lowers, which means it cuts it in two. I prefer Smokescreen, and the other moves I got are pretty good, so... Man, it'd be really nice if I had a stronger Fire-type move, because you might have missed it. Peter didn't one-shot a Pidgey at level 19. That is wackadoodle. You know what's crazy? Both of these picnickers have Bellsprout. And Bellsprout's Pokedex number is 69. Anyways, let's continue on. Get a nice item, Pearl. Be good for selling. I am very surprised and the lackluster power Peter's been having. I mean, to be fair, he's not fully evolved yet. Everyone else here is pretty much fully evolved, even Mr. Mime. So I feel bad for Peter. He's got some catching up to do. Hopefully this will help. My man, how? How do you... That's crazy. I know Pidgeys are decently bulky. I mean, they are bulkier the early route birds. But, like, how did you not one-shot with Ember? Stab Ember. Good grief. Peter, you need some... How did you not one-shot the Oddish, too? I know Oddishes are fairly bulky, too. But they're not that bulky. It's super effective. Jesus Christ. Okay. Peter's having a rough time, bro. He's having a tough time trying to one-shot things with Ember. I mean, granted, everyone else has, like, stronger stab moves. I mean, Kingpin has Dig, but at least he's fully evolved. I think there's a hidden item among this mud here. Or whatever this is. Is this mud? Chocolate? Is it caramel? Or caramel? Whatever you wanna, however you wanna say it. Alright, I wanna leave. I'm gonna leave. I gotta leave. Just like there, we're out of the cave, but not out of the fire. There's no wild Pokemon on this route anyways. Alright, more trainers. Okay. This person has been spamming Whirlwind with their Pidgeotto, and it is pissing me off. Whirlwind, what that does, it's a low priority move, and will switch out the opponent's Pokemon around. And it has a chance to fail. Thank God. Basically, it gets really annoying. And when I mean low priority, so there's moves with high priority, no priority, and low priority. Low priority will make your fast Pokemon, well, it'll just make all your Pokemon go last. No matter how fast they are, so if you got a pretty fast Pokemon, like that Pidgeotto, it'll still go last if it's going to use Whirlwind. It has a sister move in Roar, which does the same thing, but mostly everyone can learn it, and not just flying types like Whirlwind, except there's like two fringe cases? No, just two other Pokemon that can learn Whirlwind that aren't flying types, so it's not totally exclusive to flying types, but Roar's more inclusive that pretty much anyone and their mother can learn. It's pretty good for, I guess, competitive Pokemon play. It's not that great here because it's just, I don't know, why would you want to switch up your opponent's team in this? I mean, unless you're dealing with like a massive threat, but even then you're gonna be dealing with that threat a little bit because you're gonna go last when you use it, so it really doesn't matter. It gets really annoying when you're dealing with wild Pokemon that have it, because they have a chance of just using that move and having you fail to catch that Pokemon. I know from experience, because there's, like I said, I like Arcanine, and it's a pre-evolution Growlithe, and they get Roar in their level up set, and it's typically when you can catch them. So yeah, they're annoying. That move's annoying to deal with. Thankfully, not too many Pokemon have Whirlwind in their level up set, so you won't have to worry about that too much. I think Pidgeotto is like the main goober that has that. So if you plan on catching a Pidgeotto around that level of like 20, be careful. Okay, I don't think this is the final trainer either. I think there's one more down this way. Ooh, hidden item patch. Nanabberry. Nanabberries are funky. A lot of your berries are based off of like real berries, or at least have some quirks from their real world counterparts. And Nanabberries are basically bananas. Okay, is this guy... I think this guy's a... Yeah.
Hi kid, do you want to see my Pokemon?
No thanks, weirdo. Just like that, we've arrived in the creepy, spooky, terrifying town of Lavender Town. it's it's not that spooky. Anyways, well, I haven't done this in like forever. Ending it off in a Pokemon Center. Actually, you know what? I don't think I will. I think I'll save it in Lavender Town. At least in the town of it. The town in of itself. That doesn't make sense. I'm gonna save in the actual friggin' town. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, we got not much done again. We cleared out Rock Tunnel, made our way to Lavender Town. And let's see if they have a gym in here or not. Alright. Well, good night, everybody.